Well, hello, writers. Welcome to episode number 83 of How Do You Write? I'm Rachael Herron, and I'm so thrilled to be here with Priscilla Oliveras. Hi, Priscilla.
Hi, thanks for letting me join you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled that you said yes. You are inspiring in that you are writing and that you are doing all these things. Plus, you're on the RWA National Board, which is, I don't even understand how you do it. I am on the local board, and it is so much work. And you guys must just like have. I know Carolyn Jewell is a friend also, so I know that it is a huge amount of work, and I hope that you know how appreciated you guys are.
Well, I'll tell you, everyone who's on the board, they're great to work with. Our staff is great to work with, and there are peaks where we're like crazy, and then there are times where it slows down, and you're like, wait, am I missing an email? Am I off? But this is my third year on, and I will say and the board has changed a little bit as people come up and go, and but every board meeting that I've been to, that I've attended, everybody comes, even if they have different ideas. It's a real beautiful coming together of different opinions, of different perspectives, and of working together. So a lot of times it doesn't seem like work to me.
I love hearing that. That is really inspiring. So let me give you a little introduction to our listeners. Priscilla Oliveras writes sweet contemporary romance with a Latinx flavor. Proud of her Puerto Rican-Mexican heritage, she strives to bring authenticity to her novels by sharing her Latinx culture with readers. Her debut release, His Perfect Partner, and the second book in her Matched to Perfection series, Her Perfect Affair, both earned starred reviews from Publishers Weekly and Booklist. Oh, awesome. Since earning an MFA in writing popular fiction from Seton Hill University, she serves as English adjunct faculty at her local college and teaches an online course called Romance Writing for Ed to Go. Priscilla is a sports fan, a beach lover, a half marathon runner, and a consummate traveler who often practices the art of napping in her backyard hammock. I just got a backyard hammock about 2 weeks ago, and I happened to pick it up and put it together on an afternoon where I live in California, but it's been, in the 50s during the day, but it was 75 that day. And I set it up and got in the hammock, and the dog got in with me, and it was just, I'm going to become a backyard hammock napper. So
I'm a good napper in the car. I'm a good napper on a plane. I get that from my dad, but we have a really nice hammock in the back that actually I can move it around. So I'll like move it out to a sunny part of the backyard, and it's a really good. I was a deadline, and by Sunday afternoon I needed that power hammock nap to rejuvenate. So it's nice.
I love that.
And I'm in Florida, so the weather has not been snowy, so it's been nice.
You're like one of the only places where it has, and here, but
yeah.
Well, I would love to know about your writing process, how you get all of this done and still have a life. So will you tell us about that process? When do you write? Where do you write? Do you go for word count or page count, or just kind of fill us in on that?
Right. Well, having a day job, I'll say it takes a big chunk, obviously, of your Monday through Friday, sometimes of your weekend. So for me, it's a lot of scheduling and getting the writing in. I will leave work, and I need the gym's on my way home, so I'm trying to hit the gym before I get home. But if I have 45 minutes, then I'm in the car writing on my laptop for that 45 minutes, in the gym parking lot, because that's some words on the page. And for me, writing to a deadline, which is an ugly word, but it's a good word in the sense, because if I'm writing to a deadline, it means then someone's expecting a book. If I'm traditionally published, so that's my editor, but or my publisher. But for self-pubbed authors, it's they give their own deadline, and so writing to that deadline is a good thing. But I've learned, for me, what keeps me moving forward is to have like that daily word count, or if I'm on revisions, then a page count that I'm going to get through, that kind of thing. So really, for where I write, it depends on the moment. In my house right now, I'm in our private office, but it's a shared office, so it's shared by people who like to collect things. So it can kind of get enclosed. But if I listen to Pandora Radio, usually a Luis Miguel, like Latino music, romance music. So as long as if I have my headphones, wherever I am, I can pretty much get into my story world or my story mode. I have a really good lap desk and a travel standing desk.
You have a travel standing desk. How does that work?
I do. Let me see. I'll try to see if I can. So this is the desk itself, and see these things collapse.
Oh my gosh!
You can put it at different height levels. So I've taken it to different. I mean, I've taken it to write-ins, but I can take it out.
I love that it has a cup holder too.
Yes, it has a little bitty cup holder. It has a little tray. If I angled it and I wanted to set like a book on it, if I was reading a book.
Where did you get that?
I got it on Amazon.
Oh my gosh, I have to go look at that. I've never even heard of that. I will tell you,
the price was good when I wanted to look into getting a standing desk, but I didn't want to make a big investment, and because if it didn't work out, and so I bought a lesser expensive one. I liked that it was travel size because I could take it to the day job and work on that. I was at another job before, but I could work at any desk, anywhere. And we're sedentary, so if we have a sedentary day job, you have a sedentary night job. And I love to dance. So this makes, it does make it harder if we're at write-ins. I usually just tell people if my dancing bothers you, then no. Because if I'm using my standing desk, I'll, get into a bachata if that's what's on, so I do have to warn people.
I feel like I've been missing a lot from my writing life that I've never even thought about incorporating dancing. And I love it. You can see over my shoulder that I have like a stationary standing desk as well as the desk that I'm sitting at. But it's huge and I love it. It keeps my big screen on it, but it doesn't move. And now I haven't.
Yeah. And so this one will go to our lanai. If I have the house to myself, then I can even like move out into the dining room just so I can feel like I have a big open space. But if it's a sunny day and I want to feel like I'm getting to go do something outside, I'll take my standing desk and my lap desk and move out to our back porch is covered. So at least I'm outside enjoying, a nice day, even if I have to, be working to get words on the page, at least. So I love the travel desk and my lap desk. I can sit and write for a little while. I can get up and use that anywhere. I will say I have found the dancing, or even if I'm not, like I was at a Starbucks one time and I have a tendency, if my characters are waving in the book, I'll or they're angry and I catch myself frowning. I'm like, oh no, don't do that. And so I don't write like out in public places. Hence I'm in my car at the gym versus sitting in the lobby at the gym, because I can forget that there are other people around, and it might be weird if you're flinging your hand because you're annoyed with somebody, who's not really there. So
I have caught myself in the cafe, describing a hand gesture and then catching myself doing it in the air, whatever it is. And it is really embarrassing.
Yeah. So I'm not really like out in public places writing, but the standing desk, my lap desk allow me to move around a lot of places. So, for me, that works.
I love that. And I'm very glad you said that. I think that other people might really pick up on that little tip. So what is the biggest challenge you find in writing?
Oh gosh. For me, it's that imposter syndrome, that second guessing, especially starting a new work. Even if, with my second book, I took far too long to get my second book done. So then when it came to my third book, my time frame was a lot crunched. And looking back, it was all those doubts like, oh, what if, the first book was a fluke and that kind of, so that second guessing, once I fall into the book and not so much, then near the end of the book for me really is the bad thing is I'll be running out of time because my deadline's looming. And by then I'm in love with my characters and I want to be able to tell their story right. And I'm like, if I just had a little bit more time, I could make this better. So the frustrating at the beginning is, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. And at the end, it's like, oh, I need more time because I know I can do this. So I think kind of like
that's so true. Yeah. We could always I always think I could do a better job with more time. But if you gave me more time, I would fill it up. And then at the end of that time, I would still think I could do a better job with more time.
Probably. Yes. Probably. Yes. So the challenge for me really is believing in myself or just making myself jump in and get started. But the biggest things are the joys are falling in love with, for me anyway, when I'm writing and it's that big breakup and I want to cry because, then, and I'm sappy and it could be sleep deprivation by that time. However, but the feeling when you have those moments when you're feeling the emotions that you're trying to get on the page, and then hopefully your readers will feel that emotion, which then the biggest joy is when you have a reader that reaches out or on Twitter or whatever that tells you, that they really loved this character or that character. Because for me, that's why I do it. Just I have these people that I want to share, with others that can maybe love them as much as I love them.
On a real big level, sometimes I look at us as romance writers, and we have this amazing job that we actually get to fall in love with different people all the time. And then not only that, we can make or hopefully make other people fall in love with them too and have those exact same feelings. Like, who else gets to do that?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. Yes.
Can you share a quick craft tip of any kind that you've picked up along the way?
Sure. I think probably I gravitate towards this one mostly because for me, what makes a book land on my keeper shelf is typically it's a character or the characters, because I've fallen in love with those characters and I want to go back and visit them again. So really a big craft tip that I try to do for myself, or that I would tell beginner readers, is get to know your characters.
How do you do that?
GMC. I do. I mean, I do the GMC chart.
Will you explain that for people who don't know what that is?
Oh, sure. The GMC chart, it's goal, motivation, and conflict. There's a great book out there by Deborah Dixon. And that's probably one of the first one of the beginning books that I recommend to people. And we actually talk about it in my online class. So learning about your character, their internal, their external, their goal, what they want, their motivation, why they want that, which is the key to the emotional aspect. And for romance, then, that's important. And then the conflict is what's stopping them. It could be something within, it could be someone, something, some force without, outside. So they have an internal and an external GMC. Getting to know that, for me is, like I talk with my characters a lot. Whether do you interview, I try to do a diary. That for me works better.
Oh, what a great idea.
With the female, with my female characters, I haven't really diaried very much in the head of my male characters, but I will try, like, what we talk about or you hear about, what's that significant event that happened in their past? Can you diary as your character, like the night after or after that? Like, get inside to learn about that, and then diary the night before your story opens. So for me, it's all about, can you get inside your character's head so that when you're in their point of view, on the page, you have a better chance of seeing the world and feeling what they're feeling, because you know them so well. And you can like crawl into their skin. And if you can do that and get it on the page, then your readers can experience that as well. So for the craft tip, it really is just do what you need to do to get to know your characters as deeply as you can.
I love that. I'm a huge journaling fan myself.
Oh.
And I've done the interviewing with my characters, but one of my weak point is really knowing a character before I start. I tend to be one of those people who figures it out as I go, and then I have to revise the book to that character, what I learned about them by the end of the book. To actually think about journaling after the wound that occurred earlier, that's enormous. I could absolutely do that, and I could have a good time with that. Well, a good time going into a very painful spot. But you just kind of blew my mind with that.
Especially if journaling comes naturally to you. Does. I'll tell you when the interview part, if I've had characters who have are just giving me a hard time with it. Most of the time, it's that I need to sit down. And I will say the two characters that I can recall, they're both the heroes, and I'm just wanting to ask them, what is wrong? How come you're not doing what I want you to do? But I have to sit them down, and whether it's I'm driving and Diego is in the seat beside me and I'm driving in between campuses, with book 3 in the Match to Perfection series, I had an issue with Diego, and I was wanting him, and this scene just wasn't working. And so I had a conversation with him when we were driving from one campus to the other. I had another character. I was at a writer's retreat, and I got there and I dropped my bags and I grabbed a beer from the fridge and said, I'm going to be at the beach for a little while. I got to talk with someone. And that's how I've been able to, and sometimes it's me, I learned Diego was saying, I don't want to do that because I think this, feels better to me. And this was the better way to go.
Wow.
But I had to take me as the author, out of it and listen to him kind of. Makes me sound a little crazy, but
I love it. Well, we are writers, so we are crazy in that way. We have those voices in our head, but I do really like how you naturally and instinctively, and you probably didn't even notice it, but you talked about when we were driving between campuses. Like he really was in the car with you, and in your in the back of your mind, that was a we in the car with you. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I love it. I really love that. When you have that self-doubt that crops up, or those feelings of the imposter syndrome or the dark days, how do you deal with it? Do you have any techniques?
Exercise, really.
Yeah. And like physical exercise.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
Like running is good thinking time for me.
Yeah.
So if there's something, if I'm doubting, then getting away for a run, because I'm not in a running group, so it's just me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I have music, and sometimes I don't. But even with the music, it's a time for me to kind of clear my thoughts, mm-hmm. or question myself, that kind of, or exercise. And I'm either like running or I'm at Zumba. Mm-hmm. Which is just a fun, it's exercise, but doesn't seem like exercise. So that's a good stress relief for me. Even when I'm in deadline mode, I've had a family member say, you probably don't need to go to the gym. You need to be writing. I'm like, and I have to say, well, one, all the junk food I'm eating writing, I need to go to the gym. But also it's just a stress relief. I can forget about everything else and get out and let emotions out in a healthy way, kind of, mm-hmm. and then come back. I will be honest, probably wine and chocolate happens in there as well.
Absolutely. For me, it's like a Doritos. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I have. I will tell you. I sent a picture of my laptop to my kids this weekend. They're older. They're on their own, saying, this is what I'm doing. And my oldest and text me back. I hadn't realized that my snacks were next to and she's like, Mother, what are you eating? You're going to kill yourself. Because none of it was healthy. There was no fruit involved there. I love
that your kids were the ones saying that and not the mom saying that.
Yeah. Actually, I got a voice message from my youngest last week that, this is your daughter calling to see how your word count is doing. Right. Because I had my deadline coming and she knew I was stressing.
That is precious.
I have a really big supportive family. So that helps when I'm feeling doubtful. My family's really, very good, positive energy. And Catholic guilt really gets me back to the computer, because I know
Roberts always talks about that.
There's an editor waiting, or there's someone that I have given my word to, that I will meet this, and so, we joke about Catholic guilt, but at least with me, I would feel really bad if I was disappointing someone because of, my lack of action or, my own doubt. So I got to put that out of the way, because I can't, disappoint somebody else. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
So that keeps me motivated.
Guilt is sometimes very useful. Not always, but sometimes very, very
like,
useful.
there might be like some kind of like counselor needing to speak to me after this. However,
no, you're meeting your deadlines. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is the best book that you've read recently and why did you love it?
Okay. When you asked me this question, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Simply because other than my read-a books, which I can't discuss.
I know.
We're in the middle.
Yep.
I've been from...
For those of you listening who are not romance readers, the Ritas are basically the Oscars of the romance world, and the people who are judging it, we're reading and judging right now. So, okay, go on.
Yeah, we're in the judging process for any. If this airs before March 7th and you are a Rita judge, your scores are due March 7th. But really, I've had 3 deadlines back to back from a November to a January 1st to this one that was today. So I haven't had a lot of time. I just turned in one at 1:30. 1:30 this afternoon.
Congratulations! Oh my God, I can't believe you did this podcast. Okay, go on.
No, I was worried. I'm like, oh my gosh, my Fitbit's telling me I've only had 4 hours and 15 minutes of sleep average the last 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Between the Olympics and my deadline, my sleep is not good, but we did well in the Olympics. USA did great, and I met my deadline. So
you can go to bed tonight. Yeah.
Yes. Well, there is a bottle of bubbly in the fridge that will be consumed, and then I'm going to bed.
Good.
But so to get back to your question, so I haven't done a lot of pleasure reading, but I have an awesome TBR, which is a to be read list. So top of that is this one by Sonali.
Oh, I've been wanting to read that. Sonali Dev.
Yes. It's A Distant Heart. It came out, I believe it was like a December release, I think. So it's been waiting for me. Also, Falguni Kathari, her latest book, it's called My Last Love. Ooh. It's an interesting story. It's about a man who is dying and his wife and his best friend. And so it's a love story amongst the 3 and letting go and
sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So that one just sounds super emotional, and I'm excited to get to that one. And then I have a couple friends that maybe not as well known yet, but I've got their books. One is Renee Ann Miller, and her debut just came out this year. So that's a Regency Never Dare a Wicked Earl. And Kelly Siskin is another friend of mine, and she writes funny, edgy, first person. She does amazing first person in the male point of view. And yes, and one of her latest is called Legs. It was an Amazon bestseller, and so that one is already on my Kindle. It's been calling my name, telling me hurry up and meet your deadline. So any of those 4, and then I will say, as a Latina, I try to be super, super supportive of my fellow Latinx authors, and there are 3 of my Chica friends, and we've actually formed a group called 4 Chicas Chat, and we're getting ready to launch a Facebook page.
Oh, cool.
Like an author reader. So look for 4 Chicas Chat, and that's with Mia Sosa and Sabrina Soul and Alexis Daria. So I'm just trying to, I know that there's a big talk about, diverse romance, and it's out there because there's a necessity. It's not just diverse characters; it's also letting diverse authors be heard.
Absolutely.
So that's something that's really important to me. But so especially with my Latina authors, we're a big push to be supportive of each other.
That's wonderful, and that's why I follow the hashtag Own Voices, and we all need more of that. And from where I sit, I need to be buying those books and talking about those books and raising awareness. So I love that you've given us all those names.
Oh, yes. Please look for Sonali and Falguni and Mia and Sabrina and Alexis.
Absolutely.
And there are others.
So many other awesome writers. So thank you for those. And now tell us about where we can find you. You might want to show your book that you just held up for those who are watching.
So this is my debut. It's his perfect partner. It's with Tomas. He's a single dad. He's got a 5-year-old daughter, and Yasmin. She's the oldest of my 3 Fernandez sisters. And so this came out last October. And Yasmin is a Broadway dancer, but she's home. The girls grew up in a fictional suburb just outside of Chicago. And Papi has been dealing with cancer. So Yasmin has come home from New York to help take care of Papi. And because her younger 2 sisters, Rosa and Lily, are still in college. And she meets Tomas. His daughter is a dancer at Yasmin's old dance studio where she's volunteering and helping while she's in town. So that's their story. And then next up is Rosa and Jeremy.
You have beautiful covers.
Kensington's art department's done an awesome job. I've been super, super blessed, and they're really great. So this is Rosa and her book. It's on pre-order now, but it will release at the end of March. So on March 27th, she'll be live in the world. And Rosa is the middle sister. She's the shy, responsible one, and she gave me so much trouble because I loved her so much. I had a hard time being mean to her, and so by the time I got to the end with this, my goal really with all of my books, but really with her, was I just wanted to do a good job for Rosa. So she's a librarian. I think that kind of like the tagline is when this wallflower decides to take a walk on the wild side. She's had a long time crush on Jeremy. He's a family friend, and at Yasmin and Tomas's wedding, she decides to take a chance, and they have a night together, and they get more than they bargained for. So
I love it, and that's called The Perfect Affair.
Her Perfect Affair. So the books it's like a his, her, and their. So it's his perfect partner, and then her perfect affair, and then later this year in December will be Lily's story, and it's their perfect melody.
Is that the one that you just finished today?
Actually, no, that one's been done. The one that I finished today is it's a new book. It's actually with Thule Publishing, and it's part of a continuity series with 3 other authors, Kira Jacobs, Shirley Jump, and Susan Muir. And that's a Paradise Key series. That'll be like sometime late May.
You are very busy.
That's coming fast. Yes.
You are so busy.
So it's a blessing. I keep reminding myself that I wrote for a really long time before I finally sold. And so whenever I'm stressed about that deadline, I keep reminding myself, you've been praying about this and asking for this. So enjoy it.
And where can we find you online?
So my website is I learned a long time ago, Priscilla is a pretty name, but it can be spelled a bazillion wrong ways. So I go by Pris, P-R-I-S, Oliveras.com is my website. I do have a Facebook author page, same thing, Priscilla Oliveras author. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, Pris Oliveras. So, find me there. I like to travel, visit family. I'm writing in weird places, taking pictures of my golden doodle and probably the adult beverages that I'm enjoying. So
I'm going to follow you immediately. And I want to say thank you so much for sharing your time this afternoon on a very, very busy day. It's just a pleasure to talk to you. And I wish you huge continued success.
Thank you. I really enjoyed chatting with you. It's always fun to talk with fellow authors, and
that's why I do the show.
Yes, so I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Priscilla. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy the bubbly.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.